Hello there my YouTube friends. So once again back in the man cave. This has surprised me. Yeah, because obviously the stuff that I bought it from an Amazon website, which means it wouldn't have been in an Amazon warehouse, it would have been in the company's warehouse, which I'll show you the company box in a minute and in who I got it off, because I'm quite happy with the way things. But they've actually arrived the next day. I wasn't expecting to come till Monday. It's now Saturday. I wasn't expecting till Monday. Tuesday, that's when it said Monday to Tuesday before they'll be delivered. They came today, so I've spent the last sort of 4 or 5 hours sort of basically peeing about getting them sorted out and getting them up. So yeah, this is what they actually look like when up. I've still got to mess around and deal with a few things, move a few things around and stuff like that, but this will give you an idea of what they'll actually look like. So there's one side, like I said to you, that's the shorter side. So it's took a lot of faffing around, even though that you can see sort of isn't exactly 100% square, to get it even looking like that because of how bad the floors are in here. I've had to chuck that end up with a piece of friggin' wood because it was literally it was lying like that, you know what I mean? It was literally almost like that. So it was like a case of having to deal with it as best I can. And with these ones, they're boltless, but I have put bolts in. I don't know if you can see I've put bolts in there and at the back, and I've done the same with the very bottom ones, put them right up a height to bolt them together to give them a little bit more stability, because obviously, yeah, you've got to understand, guys, if there's any Americans that watches, most of the time, most of you guys do yours in either a spare room or downstairs in your bloody basements or up in a loft or whatever. This is a wooden man cave, mate, and it's like literally on my garden thingy, which wasn't very even to start with, and I wasn't going to spend fucking donkeys trying to friggin' straighten it out because I knew for a fact it would still end up like basically subsiding into it a little bit. So when you think you can feel the movement in here, it's sort of very uneven and you can hear it, but that's what it's now looking like. The detolf I was with that detolf, you're going to unscrew it from the back and turn it on the angle so I could open the door a little bit easier, because the door will open enough for us to be. I think it's going to be awkward to get into it when I've got a bunch of stuff on there. But I can get into it, and a lot of times once I get stuff in there anyway, I'm not going to be taking them back out once I'm sort of fully thingy. But if I need to, I can eventually move it around. It's what I'm worried about is if I do. Right now, as you can see up here, they're screwed onto the back wall to give them more stability so they don't rock and then end up breaking the glass, because the glass can really shatter in these things. So that one's screwed in as well. So I was thinking, like, if I did move it around, it's no longer going to have the stability. I would only hope that the stability would come from the fact it's on an angle, not lying straight, like sort of facing in towards the thingy, because I think if I unscrewed them, they'd be standing sort of more on the angle and it would put more pressure on them. But the other side, as you can see, I'm not a uniform type of guy. I know the other side that you just had a look at was all uniform. I did try doing it ununiform and it just didn't look right, whereas this one I can do it slightly more ununiform and make it look fairly decent. You know, that middle one, obviously you can see is not going to be big enough to fit 1/6 scale figures in, but I mean, I do have up there a bunch of cups, or I do have a few things that's left. Also, you look up here, if you can actually see them, there you go. I do have a few sort of smaller scale figures in my spawn thingies there, so I might like look at bringing those 2 spawn ones down, or even maybe it's the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle ones down, yeah, and putting them into that short space, or something else into that short space, whatever looks best. But I like the fact that I've got bigger space between them, because then I could look at the idea of either 1, having bigger characters in there, or 2, having sort of like maybe it's a Spider-Man style thingy where some of them all look like they're sort of swinging across these pots, same at the bottom bit, because obviously you don't get this eventually will, and I'm not talking about these characters, I'm talking about the settee. The settee will eventually be moved out of here again and go elsewhere, whether it'll move with my daughter when she eventually finds her own place and maybe wants a settee to keep her going for a while. or it'll go back up into the other room once she moves out and moves our bed out of there. So we'll have the space to be able to see it a bit better from where I am. But like I say, you know, I'm quite happy. It's took us a good while to thingy them. I've done the same with these ones here. I've chocked up that end, you can see down there, and I've had to bolts to keep them, to make them a little bit more sturdy. With that one, I could possibly, even if I need to sturdy it out even more, I could possibly find some way to actually screw it to the wall, because it is right back close to where the thingies is. There's just obviously the little struts that's coming down that stops it from going right back against the actual thingy. Plus I wouldn't really want it touching that wall, just in case it gets any sort of dampness at all coming onto it. Yeah. This side it's a bit more off, because you have got a plug socket literally down there, which is pushing it off, quite a bit off the wall. As you can see there, you can see there's like quite a bit off the wall on that side. So, and I am going to lose sort of a bit of thingy down there. But well, yeah, that's things I'll sort out in a later date, because if I need to, I'll eventually take that D12 out and slide them right the way across there, and then either look at putting that D12 into that corner and having a D12 from that corner if it looks alright, or just get rid of the D12 full stop, depending on how things go. But that's where we're at so far. The next unenviable task is to work out, do I leave the shelves looking the colour they are? Do I just put some sort of fabric over the top of them, or do I actually paint them, or do I leave them as they are? You know, and that's my next thingy. And then it's a case of, after that, it'll be sorting out these and putting them in some sort of bloody thingy into these, which that may take us a good while to do that. That could be a long process to do that. Also, it's a case of, do I look at as well is getting some perspex cut to the sizes of these things, so that I can put perspex across them, or maybe it's just a full sheet going from the floor to the height of that, of perspex on each side, and getting a bit of thingy to put it onto there. It's all stuff that I'll work out in a period of time. But obviously the next step of working out is going to be the lighting. Is how am I going to light these things? Because obviously each one of these struts that you can see going across the top to here has the ones going across and across and across this way, and then the thingies are sitting on the top. I was hoping they were going to sit on the inside of them, so that I would have had the room to put sort of things shining up from each one. Because obviously, if you look underneath here, you can see where the levels are. Yeah, so there is a thingy in there, and I thought at first I'd put these the other way around, where the larger ridge is, because there's a larger ridge on this side. I had them the other way around, hoping that they would sit inside of there, and then I would have been able to use that bit to put the lights on to shine at them. But when I worked out that wasn't going to work because of the size of the wood, I decided, right, okay, it's obviously just got to sit on the top of it, which then leaves this edge on, with it being MDF as well. It's like in case if that gets wet or gets damp, it's eventually going to swell and sort of distort and warp and what have you. But for now, that's what we're looking at, and it's a case of I'm happy with how it's looking so far. Like I say, I would like to have been deeper, because you can see here how I've got a lot more room for deepness. But, right, I could have had this at 60 and it would have been maybe to here. Yeah, so that would have worked, you know what I mean? It would have come right out towards the end of there. It's just I couldn't on that side because of how far it would have stuck across that bit. That bit would have had to stay at the 30 that they were. That's why I had the difficulty, because I wanted to buy them all from thinking. But here's the actual company that I used. So we've got them, where we got the name. There, we've got the name here. So that's the ones I bought. Like I say, it's on Amazon. They're selling on Amazon, and I think, if I'm not mistaken, I'll put the price on the screen for you to see. The shop was something like about 150 quid. But now my meal's here, it's time for me to lock up the man cave for the night, and then hopefully, if I get the chance, I'll come in tomorrow and start working out the next stage. And if maybe it's tonight when I'm in the house, I'll start looking at some sort of lights. Maybe it's whether, I don't know whether the IKEA style ones that's in there, as you can see them there, whether they'd be an okay thing to use across these or what, I don't know. That's one thing I'm gonna have to work out, is how I'm gonna light them and that. But so if anyone's got any ideas and they can thing is before sort of spend hours and hours trying to sort out, then that would be ideal. But if not, guys, thank you very much for watching. It's been a sort of quite a long video for what I've been thinking, but I think it was worth it, and I'm quite happy with that. So thanks again. I really do appreciate those that watch, and I wish I could thank you all individually, but I obviously don't get to see who's putting likes on and stuff like that. But I do appreciate it. You know, understand that. I really do. There's 20 odd people that watch and support us. I do appreciate it as much, very much, guys and girls and whoever else you might be considering yourself as. But this is the Beardy Nerdy Oaf, and for now, I am out of here.
So what I believe you were trying to say is thank you.
Thank you?
You're welcome.
What? No. I didn't. I wasn't. Why would I ever say that? I mean,
Okay.